Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2018 video. And today we're doing something different again, woohoo! Or boo, whatever way you want to look at it. This is something I've been wanting to cover and I haven't just really had the chance to do it yet. This is the Marseille-Avignon route that was released by DTG was it 2016 or 2017? I can't remember, but there was this big hype of, we've got SNCF, we can do some French stuff. And this is all we got. While it's actually pretty disappointing, I still enjoy driving up and down it. So we're going to have some very bad driving with some TVM 430 and see how we get on. Hi driver, this afternoon you'll be taking this express passenger service to Marseille Saint Charles. Open the doors for passengers to alight on board here before we depart. Okay, so let's do that. Let's put some lights on. And that'll be about it. Now, I was expecting this to be better than it was. I still don't fully understand how TGVs work, like 100%, but I've watched enough cab ride videos to do me well. And there's a lot of things that go on up here. There's the disjoncteur, which is like the circuit breaker, which is like a reset and all sorts. So it's a bit like Eurostar as well. So there's not masses different. And they've just made it a bit plain, haven't they? It's just a bit clinical and a bit boring, and French stuff tends not to be like that. That's a weird cab view thing, by the way, for those of you that like sort of cab ride videos. It's like a cab ride cam, which I quite like. I think that was from trainsim.fr. I haven't actually been able to get anything off there properly for ages. So I've got 170 kilometres now when we leave here. And the cab's nice. It is very Eurostar-esque. Well, Eurostar is very TGV-esque, really. But I thought it'd just be good to have a little blast. As we're at 4,000 subscribers, I can have a little bit of fun and do a little bit more of what I want for a day. Because these videos have all been recorded in the same day. I've not long finished a 142 scenario and the tornado scenario. All passengers now aboard proceed to Marseille Saint Charles. Don't expect me to get any of the French names right. And sound-wise as well, they just haven't got it. Part of it's there. I mean, physics-wise, from what I've seen, what duplexes can do, they're incredibly powerful. And considering we're only at one set, I mean, they've got pretty rapid acceleration and deceleration. That whiny noise is very good. It's the track sounds I don't think they've got right. So it's loud all the way up to 300, excellent. I was really half expecting this sort of route to be a Train Sim World route. It's not that long, it's kind of empty. It's got some very pretty parts to it. And it's over in sort of 30 minutes, so they could have done. I'm still not holding my breath. I think Train Sim World will have some sort of French content soon enough. And the reason I do like it is because I'm a fan of French trains. I can't really stop myself. Quite like French cars as well, and there's going to be people out there going, "Oh, what are you on about?" I like the weirdness of it. I like the sort of French not arrogance, but they're sort of like, well, it looks good, we like it. This is how we do things. Neutral section implementation as well, which I always forget about. Some of the mad Citroens that have come out, the Renault Avignon, there's loads of things that the French have done that are really cool. And if you look back through French rail history, they've done some pretty mad things with like gas turbine trains. In the steam days, they had some really mad things. They've always been quite forward-looking with rail, which I quite like. Now SNCF is falling apart, isn't it? We'll go on about how the European rail network is. We always try and compare ourselves to the European rail network. And while some countries in Europe are brilliant, France has its fair share of issues with its nationalised network as well. So it's not really like the be-all and end-all of rail, but their high-speed system is beautiful. It is really, really beautiful. The stock as well is always pretty nice. TGVs are nothing like... I think people in this country who've never been on them have this illusion of them being like really grand and special and everything like that. They're pretty functional, while being quite nice. But they can are what they are. I really like them though. Really, really like them. Again, it harks back to those days of growing up in the late 80s and early 90s and seeing those sort of books with that orange TGV on the front. And in my local model shop, there was a Lima HO scale TGV set that just sat behind the counter like this untouchable thing, because it was like, I remember it being £112, and that was probably in about 1992, so God knows what that would be in today's money, but probably a bit more, probably 180 quid maybe. I don't know, I dread to think what inflation would be like now. And my friend had an N-gauge version of a TGV PSE, and I was just in absolute awe of it. His grandmother was French, so a lot of his N-gauge stuff was French. So yeah, back in those days, any book you picked up had a Class 91, a TGV and the APTP in it. That was what you sort of got. And if you went slightly older, it was the APTP and the TGV prototype, which is quite a weird looking thing. And I mean, sort of high-speed driving, again, is horses for courses. People either really like it or they really don't. Oh, it's just boring, you just go at 300 mile an hour everywhere. I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy it. I like a mixture of things. I like a stopping service, but I do like bobbing through the countryside at 200 mile an hour is quite fun. And if we get a bigger route with full TVM implementation, so you think on this route, yes, you could stick a couple of trains before you and you could have it variably slowing you down, speeding you up, you could add a few bits here and there in, but the rail network's pretty smooth anyway. It goes through some beautiful countryside, and you're up and down there pretty quickly. I mean, this is a TGV line I haven't actually done, so I couldn't say that it is accurate or not. Let's do much with the headlights, did they, on that either? That's a bit weird. Oh. Just love the fact you can cover such a distance in such little time with them. Well, any high-speed rail networks like that, I know, but an actual high-speed rail network. I quite like some of the Talgo sets down in Spain and things like that as well. They're quite cool looking. There's also, interestingly, I don't know if you guys will know, I'm sure a few definitely will, it's called a Cybec. It was basically, think of the French version of the Class 90. And it brought out about the same time as well. There's one of those being created now by a French train sim developer that I follow quite closely on Facebook. I can't remember what it's called, if I'm honest with you, straight off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. I've switched the VACMA system, which is up here, which from what I can work out is a bit like the DVD driver's vigilant device or driver's safety device of UK stock. And French signalling's quite, some bits of it are very tricky as well. Even the bit at Marseille St Charles down at the end of this route has got some quite complex signalling, which I quite like. And considering they've already sort of scripted that and worked all that out and created the assets for it, I'm really surprised we haven't seen any more routes. Really surprised. Now the air brakes on this, these are a strange affair. You've got a sort of, they're not self-lapping. It's a bit like the 68 really. I don't know the French procedure for neutral sections. Do you power down? Do you not? They've always had pretty cool cabs as well, though, haven't they? TGVs. But imagine me now we're talking about, you know, the ones that have look like what look like a steering wheel. Like traction manipulator, I think they call it, of some kind. I always find those a bit odd. And the first gen TGVs had them, I think. Was the Atlantics that ended up like this? So the Atlantics might have actually still have the wheelie bit, I'm not sure. So that was the VACMA system. And the antenna on and off with control D, and the cancellation is Q. Always like the pantograph selection switches. These are one of my favourite things about the Eurostar cabs as well. Am I right in saying there's been no death on a TGV, has there? Which I think is quite an accolade. I know there's plenty of stock that there hasn't been a death on. But considering this was running at the ridiculous speed it does. And I like the gradients, the ascents and descents on this route are very cool. Because you're doing them at such speed, it sort of takes that little bit of finesse and control, which I don't have at all over the power handles. It's a lovely, lovely feeling when you get it just right. I know you can do that on UK routes as well. There are some that are very much like that. But I find these are always a lot more flowing, probably a bit easier to be fair. So I'll start slowing this down anyway. Oh! Messed my headlights up. Yeah, there we go. It's quite strange doing like route learning with TVM and stuff, isn't it? Never really thought about that till now. But you could get given any speed during a lot of the journey. I mean, there's certain points where it's always going to go down, but and that's because I didn't get down to 130 quick enough. It has put my brakes on for me full. Which just goes to show I should have put a little bit of extra air brake on there. Ah well. Wouldn't be one of my videos without some sort of mistake, would it? Do I know how to get this back out of emergency? No. No, I don't. Is it just a waiting game? Interesting. Some lights anyway, I don't know why I was playing with those. What have we got here? Is that going to release my brake pressure? Yes. Yes. I was thinking I was going to have to end the video there, but nah. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Oh, in a tunnel as well. That'd be grief, wouldn't it? At least whatever was in front of us should have gone a few sections ahead. Might get a little bit faster coming off this one. No, slower. I'm on a fair gradient as well, so I'm going to just make sure I can put some brake on. Stop that happening again.
supposed to get in it. We were at, ETA was at 33. It was 14:33 back then. It's now up 38. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. We're running early anyway. This is us back on conventional signalling now, which I have no idea about. Oh, do I have to change my pantograph now? No, it's still taking it. No, it's not. On the fly pantograph switch in. Love it. This is quite clever, really. The route isn't bad. As a show of what can be done for French stuff, I'm pleased with it. I'm going down to 110. It's the weird sort of pointy bridges and stuff on this that I really like. Some of the French railway architecture is like, I don't know. Like Charles Rennie Mackintosh did it for them. We see the French, a lot of the European countries, and I know this isn't exactly their fault, but every cloud and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of them had to rebuild a lot of their infrastructure after World War II. And whilst we had to rebuild quite a bit of ours, we weren't to the extent that, like, say, France and Germany and a lot of other European countries did. So they had a much more thorough plan of what was going to happen. So it meant that things could be planned very well, and electrification was done very well. Quite a lot of electrification was started well before World War II as well, but especially, I don't know how big of regional variation you get in architecture, railway architecture as such. In Britain it's mad because you've got every pre-grouping company with different signal boxes, platforms. You can tell what platform it is by the cut of the wood underneath the canopy. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, I can declare my love for a TGV. Sort of French railways, and these weird these like brushes that sort of touch these like they're AWS ramps. Quite clever, basic but clever. So the assets are here. I've got to go and look up. I can't get access to trainsim.fr just because it doesn't accept any email address but my work one. My work one doesn't allow me to link up to trainsim.fr, so I'll have to work something out there and get some more French stuff in and installed and played on the stream. If you guys have enjoyed this, please do give it a thumbs up, and please do let me know in the comments if you'd like to see some more French stuff. There is some really good bits out there. And what countries' railways do you like apart from the British Railways? Do let me know in the comments. French love a station, didn't they? They do them pretty well. Gardenau's fabulous. It's very French. Nice. Well, I meant to come a bit more forward than that, but I'm quite happy with that. I'm not in the buffers, put it that way. That's where I usually am. Any double track train gets my vote as well, really. De Juste Orange. That's something I remember from my French at school. Scenario complete. Once again, guys, thanks ever so much for joining me. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to the Facebook page and catch me on Twitch if you do want to. I'll catch you next time.